Hey everyone, this is Uri Peleg, and you'll never guess what this video is going to be about. It's going to be about solvers. When I first heard about solvers, I had a reaction of intense curiosity. I was finally going to get the answers to all the questions I've ever had about poker, and I was really excited about it. But this emotion very quickly switched to a different one when I saw that it was expensive software, it needed a strong computer, there were a million parameters to put in, and the output you get, the answer you get in the end, is something that you just can't make sense of. So rather than answering your questions, it just looked kind of weird. Be that as it may, solvers have stayed with us over the years, and I've definitely become very well acquainted with them. These days we see so many people betting 1/3 pot all the time, which is something that you'd never see before solvers, and there are a million other examples. In this video, I'm gonna take you guys on the first step of actually understanding solvers, and that's gonna be by explaining how they actually generate the solution. What's the algorithm behind solving the game of poker? Okay, so to understand how solvers work, the first thing you need to understand is about something called max exploit. Max exploit means that given that you know one player's complete strategy, you calculate the best exploitative response, the best possible highest EV response to that. The way this is done in practice is pretty easy for a computer. If you know someone's entire strategy, you can calculate the EV for each option that you have and then just pick the highest EV option. So a computer can just go through everything in a long list, pick the highest EV decision for every hand in every situation, and at that point you have your max exploit. So once we understand what max exploit is, we can understand how the solver works. The way the solver reaches a solution is it starts out by doing everything completely random. Every strategic option is taken an equal amount of the time. And player 2 then exploits that. It's not exactly max exploit, but he takes a strategy in that direction. So we talked about how you can calculate the max exploit. Now we're going to use it. And we have the random strategy for player 1, the exploitative one for player 2. And the next step will be player 1 now recalculating a new strategy to exploit player 2. Once he's done this, player 2 will go ahead and calculate a new strategy to exploit player 1. This process is going to keep going on and on and on. Sounds a bit repetitive, but every step of the way, the strategies get better and better, and they get more difficult to exploit, until in the end you have a strategy that's so good you could put your strategy on the wall for the world to see, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. This sounds pretty amazing. The strategy to end all strategies. No more leveling wars, no more tough decisions. You just execute and print money. And this type of idea has been the holy grail of poker. Unfortunately, in the real world, it's way too complicated, and anyone who tries to implement this invariably fails. And when you do this 90% right and 10% wrong, the entire thing falls apart. It doesn't work unless you get it all perfect. Imagine that you have one guy who's spent his entire life crafting an indestructible suit of armor. This is the guy who's studying with a solver. He's making his game indestructible. And all of his focus is on his armor. He's always looking inwards, because if the armor is indestructible, he doesn't care who's coming up against him. But unfortunately, 10 to 20% of his armor is riddled with holes. Now this guy, send him to battle, he's obviously not gonna do too well. His eyes are closed, he's looking inside, and his armor is filled with holes. So anyone who can see what's going on can just attack those holes and tear him to pieces. This is probably one of the most common ways to misuse solvers, and it's very counterproductive in that it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and you feel like you're building something, but the thing that you're building is kind of taking you in the wrong direction. My approach, the Guerrilla Poker approach to using solvers, is to go back to the roots of how solvers actually work and how they generate their solutions. That's it for today, guys. In the next video, I'm gonna be going over a high stakes hand history. We'll see some cool PioSOLVER effects. I hope to see you then, and if you like this one, press one of the YouTube buttons on the screen. I don't remember which one, but there's a button there you're supposed to press. See you next time.